Hello Apes, Chimpopolis here, and today I'll be talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. As some of you may know, I like this franchise quite a bit, so when I heard they were making another one, I got pretty excited. I marked it on my calendar and eagerly awaited Ape Day. Would this new entry live up to the great trilogy that came before it? Let's find out. This movie actually starts off directly after War for the Planet of the Apes as we see Caesar's funeral. It was really nice to have that moment of closure and seeing these characters for the last time. Seeing Caesar laid to rest in such a beautiful ceremony and just seeing how much he meant to all of these apes is such a great scene. And a great jumping off point to start of this new addition to the franchise, as a large part of the theme of this one is how Caesar's legacy has survived through the years. We are then brought 300 years in the future, where we meet our main characters, Noah, Suna, and Anaya. I love this opening as it already gives us bits of world building and shows us what's happened to the Earth after all this time. The area they're in is covered in vegetation, and the three of them are trying to get eagle eggs for a ceremony. We get an idea of their individual personalities, and you get to see the fantastic special effects firsthand. Most importantly, we get to see Noah, who's going to be our primary focus, go out of his way to get an eagle egg for himself even if it risks his safety. This, and the events that are soon to happen, will be the catalyst for the entire movie. When they're headed to their horses to go home, they see that they've been spooked, and they notice that a blanket has been stolen. They look around and they see a figure, and Suna this whips a rock at them. This thief escapes through a tunnel that the apes cannot go through because the area beyond is forbidden. Why is it forbidden? Maybe their level isn't high enough yet. Then in the hurry to get away, the thief leaves their own piece of clothing, so they take back to their clan to show the elder. They go back to their village and it just looks great. Seeing the apes just go around living life is fascinating and I could watch it for hours. We also get to see the falcons in action because this is a falcon clan. They raise them, they train them, and they help each other out. We meet Noah's mother and father, and his father talks about echoes. Noah and his friends talked about echoes a bit earlier, and the consensus is that they are not wanted and bring trouble. There's an emphasis on this ceremony tomorrow, where they're going to have to take these falcon eggs and raise them. And of course, with such an important thing happening just the next day, you know everything's going to go to shit. And they do. Let me give a quick list of what happens. So he goes out at night, to think and stuff, and he's fixing some things, and then he hears a noise. And then he goes into a fish cabin and sees that goddamn echo. So he runs after the echo, but the echo slams into him and breaks his precious falcon egg. So then he's like, shit, I have to go out and get another falcon egg. And when he's out there, he sees a bunch of dead apes. And then he sees a bunch of other apes on horseback wearing masks, and they're the ones who are killing all the apes. And one of the apes they killed were one of the elders that had the cloth that had the echo scent on it. So they're like, God damn, there's an echo around. They haven't spotted Noah, but they spotted his horse. So they decide to prod the horse so it'll run back to where it came from. These masked apes are not only looking for an echo, but they are also looking for villages so they could kidnap everybody, burn it down, and kill their elder. And Noah's too late to get back there and warn everybody. So the place is burned down, everybody's either dead or kidnapped, and he watches his father die. Then poor Noah has his Mufasa moment when he gets knocked off the top of the tower and falls. Thankfully, he doesn't die, but he gets knocked out, and when he wakes up the next morning, everything's destroyed and everyone's gone or dead. And now he's on a mission to get revenge. Okay, so let's slow down now. He has a falcon following him around that he sees as this symbolic taunting of him for his perceived failures. I like this little bit of storytelling. On his journeys, he falls down a hole and meets Raka. Raka is awesome. Raka, I will stand until the end of time. Peter McCann, who plays Raka, does a fantastic job of bringing this character to life. His mannerisms and way of speaking are very engaging. Though of course I have to give everybody credit for once again doing a fantastic job being these walking, talking apes. Then there's our lead playing Noah, Owen Teague, and I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right. Owen does a good job at playing Noah. Being the main protagonist and having to fill the shoes of someone like Andy Serkis and the character of Caesar seems like quite the feat, and I think he does a pretty good job. Though I will say, and this is more the fault of some of the writing, he's not the most interesting character. Once you meet characters like Raka and Proximus Caesar, they just have so much life and personality. I'll get back to the characters in a moment though. Let's get to the end of the story first. Much like Noah, Raka's clan was attacked by the Masks too. He's alive as he hid to protect the very important knowledge they have of the past, that the Masks would have surely destroyed. There's a small but particularly heartbreaking scene where he looks towards a fire and laments about his dead loved one. All he has left is his books. Raka also comes with a wealth of knowledge of what things were like years ago. A lot of this seeming to be passed down from generation. This is where we learn more about Caesar's legacy through the years, and how he is seemingly the only ape left that's trying to carry it on. We even see around his neck that he has a necklace that has the symbol of Caesar on it. There's something just so tragic about how all these years later, this history is basically lost. And there's also the fact that this is Noah's first time hearing about any of this, because he's never left his village. While Raka is showing him the area, they see an illustration on the wall of what echoes used to look like, and Noah learns that they are called humans, not echoes. And let me tell you, this chimp is having his mind blown right now. Speaking of humans, Noah goes to his horse, and god damn it, there she is again. Raka's reaction's a little different. Raka's like, oh look, a human! No, don't scare it away! Let's go after it and say hi! So now two of them are on a journey, and they're just hanging around the campfire, eating some apples, and a human shows up again. And Raka, being the cool dude he is, gives her some apples. But of course, Noah knows if you feed her one apple, she's just gonna keep coming back for more apples. Do you want to have to take care of a human? I don't think so. Raka points out, though, that this human's been following him around for a while, so she must be important. So she tags along too, and now there's 3 of them. What a wacky bunch. Oh, also, all the human females are called Nova. This is canon now. Raka tries his best to befriend her, and Noah's begrudgingly going along. But then they all come across something real cool, horses of stripes. Before coming across something even cooler, a bunch of primitive humans rocking the Flintstone. Noah let Nova know that they found her people. She can go now and go frolic in the mud and eat leaves or whatever humans do. Raka is all ready to stay with May and live amongst the humans, and he's going to raise them all under the teachings of Caesar. He even gives Noah his necklace as a keepsake. Nova doesn't really seem to want to be with these humans though, but before anything can really happen, a bunch of the Masks show up and start attacking the humans. Most importantly, they seem to be looking for one very specific human. Leading these Masks are 2 apes called Silva and Lightning, with Silva being the one that killed Noah's father. It's a shame they didn't utilize these characters a bit more in the movie. They seem interesting, but don't do enough to really pique that interest. We get this really good chase scene that harkens back to the original movie, where they're chasing after all the humans, but especially the girl. Raka gets himself a huge-ass log to defend themselves with. Silva's gaining up on her, and in a moment of desperation, she yells out for Noah to save her. We get the big action shot where she runs up a big log and then jumps right onto the horse and rides off, and then Raka comes up with his log and just smacks the guy. So they get away, but Noah obviously heard her speak, and she has a lot of explaining to do. So she does. Her name is May, and she's on a mission. May needs a very important piece of equipment from the same place that Noah's traveling to. It's ruled over by Proximus Caesar. Noah's mind has been sufficiently blown at this point, and he has now achieved galaxy brain. To get to Proximus Caesar, they have to cross this long, rickety bridge that's above a raging river. God damn it, something terrible's gonna happen. And something terrible does happen. They get ambushed by Proximus Caesar's men, and then Raka dies trying to save May after she's clinging to life and getting sucked into the river. I guess we're just not allowed to have nice things. But in my coping headcanon, Raka will survive and comes back in the sequel like Gandalf the White. The only silver lining is that we now get to meet Proximus Caesar. He's the leader of the bunch, you know him well, he's finally here to enslave some apes. Wait, no, that's bad. Proximus Caesar is the antithesis of our old friend, and he's taken the old Caesar's legacy and warped it together with Julius Caesar, and he's made this bizarre empire out of it. He makes a great antagonist, and I wish we knew a bit more about him by the end of the movie. He's so jovial, but delusional, and it's really perfect. Everything Proximus Caesar has been doing up until now, with the masks and the murder and the kidnapping, has all been to build his own kingdom. Another big part of his plan involves opening these large metal doors which lead into a fort that he believes have all the technology and knowledge he'll need to become even more powerful. The enslaved apes are forced to open this metal door by any means necessary, but it's obvious they're not going to be able to do so, but he's just going to keep trying no matter who gets hurt. There's this bittersweet reunion between Noah and the others, as we see they've been stripped of their identity as they are all part of Proximus Caesar's kingdom now. Now you may be asking yourself, Julius Caesar, how does he know about that? Well, he was taught all about ancient Rome by his trusty talking human. This is Trevethan. Trevethan was out with some other talking humans on an expedition, but they were all killed, and while he was getting away, he broke his leg, and now he's stuck there. Wait a second, I recognize this guy. Oh no, he's gonna try to sell me a cheap car. He's pretty much given up, and he's resigned to the fact that he's just there to read Proximus books and tell him jokes. There's this great scene where Proximus is explaining his ambitions to Noah, and it really gives you a good idea of just how menacing and dangerous he really is. Kevin Durand, who plays Proximus Caesar, does a really good job here. Not all hope is lost though, because Noah has the encouragement from his mother, and in a sign of better things to come, that falcon that's been following him this whole time finally trusts him and flies right onto his wrist. Now the gang's back together have made a hatch a plan. What's this plan? Well, May needs the special keycard from within there because it's very important for her mission, and the apes want to free everybody, so they're going to find another way in, set up explosives around the dam, and once they get what they need and rescue everyone, they're gonna blow up the dam and finally defeat Proximus. Sounds like a good plan to me. Let's see how it turns out. Unfortunately, Trevethan heard all of this, but May's not gonna let him go to Proximus to let him know. So she puts him in a sleeper hold and strangles him to death, and then dumps his body in the ocean. Jesus Christ, May. I understand May's ambitions, but I think she's been a bad influence on Noah. She even taught him how to swear.
Oh, shit.
Now all the apes are going to start saying shit. To get into the fort, they find a back entrance that's at the top of a very large cliff, and they have to climb up it. And that's easy as pie for these three apes. Look, he's already starting. So they get into the fort, the three apes find some more wonders of the past world, and May finds what she needs, and a bunch of guns. May's just ready to go full John Wick if she needs to. They open the large metal doors from the inside, and they're ready to start phase 2 of their plan, but unfortunately Proximus is just right there outside the door. Proximus starts doing his villain monologue where he talks about how foolish Noah was for trusting a human, and then he tells them that he has to choose either between her or the apes, and to help him make this decision, lightning threatens to kill Suna. But you see, there's always a plan C. May shoots lightning, and she can't let Proximus have anything that's in that fort, so she runs towards the detonator and sets it off, blowing up the dam to flood the fort. While you can say she did this in desperation, this act puts Noah and his whole clan in danger. While many apes run for their lives, the Falcon clan is able to work together to try to get as many people to safety as possible. Silva chases after Noah in an attempt to stop him, but he's just far too big to get through all the pipes that Noah is running through. He ends up getting stuck and eventually drowns, and Noah gets some semblance of revenge for the death of his father. Thankfully, it looks like a lot of the apes escaped, but god damn it, Proximus is alive. Now we have Noah versus Proximus in a fight to the death, and it's not looking too good for Noah, but then he sees some falcons flying overhead, and he gets an idea. His clan communicates to the falcons through singing, so he starts to hum a tune, and it gets louder and louder, and then everyone else starts joining in on the tune, and the falcons start attacking Proximus and just pecking the hell out of him until he eventually falls over and falls off the cliff and dies. This scene was so cool. With that, they are able to make their way back to their original village and hopefully rebuild. But of course, there's still one loose thread here. What about May? May has the audacity to show up and try to talk to Noah, who's not particularly thrilled to see her. May is trying to explain why this was a desperate situation and why she had to do what she had to do, but she may also be there for an alternative reason as we see her holding a gun behind her back. It's clear that May has seen how formidable and intelligent the apes are, and this terrifies her. Despite this, she does not shoot or show her gun. Noah starts talking about Raka, and this causes her to falter. In a bittersweet and touching scene, Noah gives May the necklace that Raka's been wearing. They go their separate ways and we're left with an uncertain future. And then we see what the key card was for. We see her heading to a building and the person who retrieves the key card is wearing a hazmat suit. This was the last piece they needed to be able to get the satellites working so they could communicate with others. And it works. They get through to other people. Also, earlier in the movie, Noah finds a large telescope and eventually realizes that he can look through it and see into space. We don't see what he sees, but it startles him. At the end of the movie, he takes Suna with him to also look through the telescope, and we're left to wonder what exactly they saw. But I think I have a pretty good idea. This ending got me super excited for the sequel, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. Now, as much as I like the movie, I do have some criticisms. I think there were certain characters I wished they'd given more background to, like Lightning and Silva and Raka. Raka especially seems to have a very interesting backstory, as he was the last person who truly knew who Caesar was. I also felt disappointed that he never truly got revenge for the death of his clan and his partner. When it comes to Lightning and Silva, because they weren't really fleshed out, when they were eventually killed off, it didn't really have much of an impact. Thankfully, there's quite a few deleted scenes for the movie, and I've seen some of them. One of my favorites is this particularly touching scene where Raka and Noah compare how they mourn their dead, along with some other scenes that help cement Silva and Lightning as threats, and more dialogue between Noah and May that helps strengthen their relationship. What did you think about this new entry to the franchise, and where do you think it'll go? I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Join me next time when I talk about the Taiwanese found footage gem Incantation. And if you enjoyed listening to me talk about apes, like and subscribe or leave a little comment. Either way, I'm just happy you stopped by. Have a great day. Bye.